All righty, greetings. Happy Friday. Happy week 3. Here we are. Glad to see you. Glad to have you all here with us, whether you're in person or later catching the archive. You all are stuck with me today. Unfortunately, Chef Eric is feeling a little under the weather, but you can always reach him through messages. However, my suggestion would be if you have any questions that you want to get answered, throw them my way, if after the meeting or after the class, or if you are catching this later, just because it's going to be the weekend and I'm not sure, I just want to make sure that Chef Eric has time to recuperate and feel good. So before we get into some cool topics on heritage breeds, which I was not able to get to because on Wednesday, my internet situation, does anybody have any questions regarding the techniques or week 3? Joyce, I see you're dealing with COVID right now. Please do take care. I had it over winter break. It's no joke, guys. Stay safe. Even if you do have that vaccine, to be honest, I had 2 shots and I still got it. So it's different, right? We still don't know really anything about this stuff. So keep washing your hands, keep staying safe. Wear your mask if that's what you feel comfortable with. If you don't, whatever, that's your opinion and your choice, but stay safe, because I'm telling you, you can be healthy and you get knocked down by this. I was out for over 2 weeks, just pure exhaustion. So you don't want to have that, is what I'm saying. Norman, I see your hand up first. Norman, we can't hear you. Check back in. I'm going to hop over to LaSalle.
Yes, Joe. I noticed the parsnips is the same as a carrot.
It looks the same. I'm actually going to pull up a few visuals for us of root vegetables as well. I want to give you guys some visuals. It looks just like a carrot. However, it has a little bit of a bigger top, and it's tougher and woodier. The flavor's a little sweeter, but let me get this on so everybody who doesn't know what a parsnip looks like can see this. This is what a parsnip looks like.
Right. Right. But my question to you is, how far do I go down that parsnip?
Well, the whole thing is edible. It's all edible.
Right. But if I keep going down, each part is less and less and less.
If you're doing the oblique cut.
Right.
So if you're doing an oblique cut, say we just have this, right? You're going to start rolling your oblique cuts. And what you're going to want to do is just, I would stop right around there. Those thin little ones when it gets thin, super thin at the end, right? That's all pretty small. That's going to be a lot smaller and thinner for uniform cooking.
Right.
So what you want to do is just cook that. You could put these in later on in the cooking process, the smaller pieces, or do 2 batches. Or do something different. Maybe save this small part. Maybe you're going to make a little soup and you're going to throw some parsnips in that soup or a stew.
Okay.
You could also do that, thinking about utilization.
Okay.
But definitely, yeah, they're big. There's huge size differences.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was like, what am I going to do with the little part?
Yeah, I would just, like I said, either throw those in later on in the cooking process, right? That's your one option, or save it for something else. Because sometimes you'll see they get really thin, like this. Their root gets really thinned out, and they're super big on top.
Yeah.
So that's a great question, LaSalle.
Because I see some of them you have in the pictures here. You got roasted. But,
roasted parsnips are scrumptious. Parsnips are a lot sweeter. They have that sweetness that's coming out. This one looks like it's got some honey and poppy seeds and salt. Roasted parsnips are divine. Also, you'll see that parsnips are just like carrots in the sense that they have Those green tops, the green tops are edible as well.
Right, right.
You know, so something to think about. But yeah, you definitely have a big size difference from the top down to that narrow little bottom. So
Okay. Thank you, Chef.
you're very welcome. Mikael.
Good day. How you doing, Chef?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
Pretty good. Trying to get over a cold. I was down all weekend myself. A quick question. Can you just familiarize my brain with the oblique cut? How do you perform that cut again?
Yeah,
it's been
so I'm going to give you a visual right now, but I will also, remember, you're going to be rolling it. You're going to use the right angle. So you're going to peel remember, always peeling, guys and gals, oblique cut. This is what it ends up looking like. Kind of like a little bit of a weird pyramid. All right. So
right.
as you can see, I'm trying to see if I can get a good visual here. This one is actually, this guy chef has got, so as you can see, he or she is going to be rolling this. So it's like a diamond. It's kind of between a diamond and a pyramid is what you get. But the whole thing is that you're rolling this. And as you roll 45 degrees, and then you make your next cut, and then you roll another 45, and then you make another cut. So you get these, this is a good example. Kind of like a strange diamond pyramid.
Right. I remember the shape. I just didn't remember exactly how to actually do the cut.
Yep, you're gonna roll, and you cut it on an angle. So roll, cut, and it's always on that angle.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're very welcome. Here's another visual of that. So you always end up getting this like little side here, and then you roll it so that way when you make your next angled cut, you balance it off over here.
Hang on, because the only thing I'm seeing is just you. I'm not seeing any.
Oh shoot, I wasn't sharing. I'm so sorry. I thought this whole darn time I thought I was sharing. Did you guys see any of that?
No, I didn't.
Shoot, sorry. Now you can, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a great example, right? They've made that angle cut, and as you can see, there's this little angle here, and then you've got a larger angle here. It's going to get rolled, and you're going to make that cut again. So then they end up being these kind of pyramid-like diamond cut shapes, which is what you want to get. Here was another visual where the chef.
Now, when you cut it, you cut it in a 45-degree angle, correct? Okay.
Yep, you see how this one is? That's exactly. And then you roll, and then you cut so that this side, then you're going to basically be rolling that so that way your next cut hits right there.
Okay, each time it's 40 angle with the cut, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Michelle. So even though the parsnips are a little bigger than the carrots, cut them in the same dimension.
You can do obliques with parsnips. Remember, you always want to evaluate your size and shapes of your vegetables, right? So if you've got huge tops, maybe you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to do, they're really big. I'm going to do a large dice or a medium dice on those. And I'm going to square it off because the top is really big. And I'm going to do a dice with that. And I'm going to save the bottom parts for something else. Carrots tend to be a little bit more uniform in shape, so it allows for a little bit easier, accessibility to make those oblique cuts. But again, it really depends on the size and shape of the parsnips that you get, or carrots for that matter. There's huge horse carrots, which are just like the jumbo ones. Those make it really easy to do large dice. Again, it depends upon, or if you're getting super teeny ones, right? Also, FYI, if you only can find baby carrots for some reason, I really suggest never using baby carrots unless you're using for a crudité. Just so in case anybody knows, baby carrots are not actually small carrots. Those are large carrots that have been whittled down to those size, and those are shaped, okay? But they don't have as much flavor. If you are gonna use those, because that's the only thing you have access to, the only thing you can find, please do a bias cut on them. We still want to see some knife cuts going on, right? Just a little word to the wise. We don't want you just dumping in baby carrots and doing this technique. We still want to see knife cuts. Knife cuts is where it's all about. All right, Mikhail, did that help you with the obliques? And
It did. Thank you, Chef.
you're very welcome. All right, Norman, you back in the house. See if we can hear you.
Yeah. I thought it was you who was like, no offense. But yeah, I mean my internet's like trash, but it's whatever. But my question was Chef Eric said steak, fish, and pork chop is our only proteins. I remember that. And I got a steak if that was cool, because like all the pork chops, more or less, I know steak is more money than pork chops by like $2, but I mean there's it doesn't really matter. But I went ahead and got a steak if that's okay.
Yes, steak
like,
is awesome with this technique. It's delicious.
Because like, I mean, I could have got pork chop, but they did not add up to the. It said 8 to 12 ounces, like one, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's okay if the weight is a little small. Really, the idea here and the main focus is that you want to have a thick enough cut.
Yeah,
right?
there was none thick.
Okay, as long as it's thick, you're good. If it's thin, remember what we're going to be doing is you're going to get a pan nice and hot. Okay. You're going to have seasoned your protein, and you're going to put that down right there. So you're going to start cooking, right? Remember, we know as soon as we place a protein in a hot pan, we start to cook. All right. We want to develop that Maillard reaction. It's cooking, 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 cooking. Then you're going to flip it over. All right. You want to make sure that you have that, you want to check, make sure you've got some nice browning and Maillard reaction. You flip it over. You're going to add your extra butter. Then you're going to let that butter melt. You're going to start flipping that butter on top of there. So it's still going to keep cooking on the bottom side and on the top. So you're now cooking from the top and the bottom. So that's why you want to have a thick cut so that you don't end up overcooking your protein.
Okay. So the steak was good to get? Because I plan on doing it sometime. Sometime today.
Yeah, steak's awesome. I do. Yeah, LaSalle.
Yes, Chef. I noticed protein to protein. On a thin cut, you only get but 1 minute on each side.
Correct.
That's typically that's all you get, because after that it turns to cardboard.
You're totally right. I'm going to pull up a visual here. We go thick cut pork chop, so we can just see this, right? Let me just again give you a visual. Sometimes I think visuals are really good. We sometimes talk about stuff and we might not know, but this is why you go into the market, right? You look at what you've got. That's why, think about this. Remember when you make like a veal scallopini or you're doing chicken parmesan and you pound that meat down, right? That's so it cooks quickly. We don't want that. We want to get it, and we want to sear, flip, and then continue to sear and baste. So let me give you another visual of what a thick cut pork chop looks like. And you can see it's going to look different, right? For example, this one's a double. That's a double chop, right? That's big bad boy right there. Got 2 bones in there. You can actually baste like this, but you would then finish that in the oven. But you can see like this, even this one's a bone in thick. That's a lot larger than your kind of standard pork chop that you see at the grocery store, right? That's packaged. Maybe it's going to just look like, let's just get a regular one. Maybe it's looking a little bit closer. That one's probably closer to this, right? That one's looking at about 3/4 of an inch. That's not bad. But often we see these, right? So, and those are pretty thin sometimes. Now this one, for example, is a bit heftier. Got some height on that. That's thick, right? So here's a thin one. See, visually, this is super thin compared to this. All right, this one you're going to put in that pan, sear, 45 seconds, minute, flip, done. You're not going to get any real action on basting. Something like this, you're going to get some action, okay? Remember, you're going to get that pan nice and hot. You want to develop that Maillard reaction first, right? That color, that juicy golden brown. Then you can reduce the heat a little bit, okay? The most important is developing that initial sear. You need to reduce that heat a little bit because you feel like you're overcooking it. Pull it off, hold it off the heat and just baste a little bit. You don't want to get a bad product, all right? But you can see how these are different cuts, right? That's where that chop is coming from. Excuse me.
So the thinner the cut, you're not going to develop flavor.
Sorry, the thinner the cut, yeah, the thinner the cut, the drier your end product will be.
Right.
And you won't have as much delicious butter juiciness going in, because you're going to pull that chop or that protein out before it's had time to be cooking from the top and the bottom with all that delicious butter in there. Okay. Great questions, class. So I do want to show you all, any other questions regarding that technique? Norman.
Okay, so I do know what it is, but I do need my mind refreshed. What is braising again? Like, okay, I know it's like you tilt the pan to the side and put the liquid, but like what?
Basting, remember basting, not braising. Braising
okay.
is totally different.
I meant basting, my bad.
Yeah, that's okay. Don't worry. Double check your guys' knowledge checks, because you'll see a lot of them. It just confused. It does this. Let me
Okay.
just pull this in. I'm going to see if I can get a photo of this. What you're going to do is, like I just said, you're going to get a nice sear. Then you're going to tilt that pan. Here we go. You're going to tilt the pan, and you're going to use the fat that you add into that pan to continue basting. Remember, basting is adding extra flavor.
And that'll cook it more.
Yep, it's going to shoot. That's not my fat. Sorry, I've got a bunch of I'm grading and got a bunch of folders open and trying to multitask here and pulling up the wrong thing. Here
You're
we
all
go.
good, chef.
Thanks. Here we go. So this.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was meaning.
Yep.
Cause like, all right.
See,
Yeah.
this has already been seared on the top side, right? This has been flipped, and now the butter has been added, and that spoon is just lapping up that extra butter coating. See, you're going to tilt that pan. The bottom is not going to get direct heat on that. You're going to tilt this. You have to tilt it so that the butter drips down here, so that you can gather it and flick it over. Again, it's going to take a little time to get your wrist used to this. I do suggest a fairly large size spoon. The smaller the spoon, the more you're going to have to do is you're going to get annoyed. If you've got a nice large spoon, that's what you want. You can see this one's a fairly deep spoon there, right?
Okay.
Here's another photo, right? The chef is literally pouring that fat directly on top of that. That's why I love fish. I'm telling you, fish is the way to go with basted fish. It's like the best fish you'll ever eat. Here's a steak. It's getting lacquered up, right? You're just pouring all of that fat on top of there. Okay. This one is really quite thin, and a lot of fat. It's too much fat, and that's too thin of a cut. It's fine, but it's just not ideal, right?
Okay.
So, chef, question.
Yeah.
Sorry, Norman.
Are you good?
Can we add a little oil and butter mixed
So this
where
is
the butter doesn't burn?
Yeah, I mean, what you're going to want to do, remember, you're going to start your pan off. You want to start your pan with either clarified butter or ghee or oil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that's going to have the highest smoke point. You're
Right.
going to get that sear. You're going to develop. Then you're going to flip. That's when I add whole butter.
Okay.
And a little browning of that butter is okay. If you
Okay.
find, excuse me, if you find that it's burning, pull the pan off, tilt it up so you're not getting high heat. But you're gonna see, as you can see right here, that butter is nice and dark, right?
Right.
It's gonna darken up. It's gonna get some dark foam. You don't want burn flavor, but brown is good. We're actually gonna be making brown butter later on in this course. So you'll start to see that, like, this is totally edible. It adds lots of nuttiness. And this is actually a perfect example. Once you've added so say you sear, you flip, you add your regular butter. At that point, you want to add, if you've got fresh herbs, that's when you toss your fresh herbs in on the pan, and then let them sizzle there in the pan for a little bit. And then you place it on top of your meat and you continue to baste. This ensures that your whole cloves of garlic and your fresh herbs don't burn, because they have a volatile oil. So they're going to burn real quickly, right? So you want to put that on top of your meat so all those flavors seep down and get in there. But as you can see, this one's a little hard, little heavy on the butter, but this is a really thick steak, so it's gonna need that, okay? I would probably just have one of those. It's just a lot. You can see that that herb and garlic clove has just been put in there. And then you're gonna wanna transfer it up top. Again, you can see that size of that spoon, nice and big.
Right. Right.
All right, Mikael.
Yes, Chef. Sorry to disturb you. The whole time you're basting, are you holding tilting the pan at the same time that you lapping it with the spoon and the butter?
You got it. I'll pull up a visual again, but yeah, you're holding the pan, tilting it, and you're with one hand, like if you're a righty, you're gonna have your holding the pan in your left hand, and you're gonna be using your spoon with your right. See how this pan is tilted just ever so slightly. A towel on the left hand, spoon in the right hand.
So you just barely tilted it.
Yep, you don't want to
Correct.
pour anything out, but you do want to, as you can see how that's just lifted? It just allows that butter and fat to run down, because you don't want to be scraping all that, but you want that butter and fat to pour down the side, so that way you're clicking it up and just scoop and flick, scoop and flick, scoop and flick. That's pretty much what it is.
Okay. And approximately how long do you do that?
It really depends upon the thickness of which cut you're using, which protein, and how thick your cut is. But remember, your fingers are your friends, so touch it, right? If it's super soft, right? You guys all know this, how to gauge.
Mhm.
Comes with time, but you should start feeling your meat, okay, while you're cooking. Whether you're using a tong to press on it gently or your finger, right? You need to know what it feels like. How tough is it? What is it? Is it super soft, right? When we think about taking out a piece of steak or a fish and you touch it, right? We touch that raw meat. It's super soft, right? It doesn't have any firmness to it. Those proteins haven't tightened yet. Heat gets applied, right? We think about grilling, right? You throw on a chicken breast on the grill. All of a sudden it seizes up, right? That's because those proteins are getting nice and tight. Moisture's leaving.
Mhm.
Proteins are getting tighter together. Feel your proteins. This is your thing. Remember, cooking is all about senses, using your nose, using your eyes, using your ears, right? Using your fingers. You're gonna want to touch it.
So basically what you're saying, basting is not pick up, drop. It's a roll.
Yeah, you're constantly just
It's a
flicking the butter onto it. Yeah, it's
Okay.
not, it is not, you don't want to, you want to just, it's a constant movement.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
I do see somebody asking about keeping the butter from burning. We talked about this. I don't know if you were in there, Elizabeth, or not. You want to be tilting that pan, and a little bit of browning is okay. You're not going to have the pan directly on the heat source. You're going to have it angled, and so you're going to have control. Plus, you're going to be moving it rapidly. Okay. If you feel like it's getting way too hot, pull your pan off. Remember, you have control of the heat. Pull your pan off the burner. Plop in some more oil or butter, obviously, preferably not, because that's food cost, right? But, you want to make sure that, if you feel like it's getting too dark, pull your pan off. That's the best way to pull that. See another question. Both proteins, fish and pork chop. Yeah, totally. Awesome. Please do. Love to see it. I think it's great. Give yourself some more experience, understanding different proteins. Remember, a pork, different, maybe you like, Chef Eric was saying he likes his steak well done. Me, I don't. I like mine a little bit. I like mine like medium rare. So, it depends. Fish also doesn't have to be cooked, when it's super flaky and dry, it's not that delicious. A little bit under is fantastic. No problem. Oh, all right, Elizabeth, no problem. Thanks. I did not know. So I'm trying to keep my eye on the chat and everything. So my apologies. And I'm glad we got that answered. I'm going to pull up a few more things really quickly. Norman, what's up?
I hate to bug you again before you got started, but what? Okay, so there's like well done. Is that where it's like all the way cooked through? It's all like all brown. Because, and what is? All right, is there 3 different types or is there 4 different types? Like,
Ooh, there's tons. It really depends upon where you live, and I'm gonna show you this, and I'm gonna give you a visual
because
here.
I've seen people like put it on a grill and let it cook for like 10 seconds, and it's like cooked. Because I know you can eat steak raw.
Yeah, I mean, there's beef. So then we're talking about like your quality of your beef, right?
Okay.
You know, certain beef is going to be tastier, certain fish is going to be better. You know, that you're eating raw. When we think about sushi, beef tartare, steak tartare, right? Yeah, you can eat it totally rare. You can eat it totally raw, but not everybody. I'm going to give you this. What you're going to want to do, again, this is kind of what I was talking about with temperatures, feeling your thumb. It's a trick. We'll talk about it later. I don't want to go into it because we've got to cover some other stuff, but I'm going to show you this little scale. But you will find scales that range from, 15 different states from rare. There's a term called black and blue, meaning it's basically thrown into super hot pan, and it's just charred on the outside and still cold, black and blue, right? Hot and cold. So it's charred on the outside and it's still cool and bleeding on the inside, all the way to dead, right? So here's an example. We've got extra rare or blue doneness, right? And those are your temps, internal temp. Rare, medium, medium well, and well done. That's what I would say is probably the most general, like accepted terms, right?
Well done.
Well, extra rare, like rare, medium, medium well, and well done. That's how, like, these 5, you're going to see the most common. The 6 extra rare, yeah, but that's like also known as a black and blue. Not a lot of people order it like that. Rare, medium, well done.
Okay.
Well done, you are brown inside. You're fully cooked. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people like that. That's totally cool. Certain countries are more likely to have well done meat, and they don't eat, and people don't eat rare or medium rare. They're like, that is not thoroughly cooked. So it really depends on how you were raised, where you grew up, what were you exposed to. Nothing is right or wrong. It's just different temperatures and preferences. But I would highly suggest exploring when you go to a nice steakhouse. If you do, they're not cheap, but try and get it a little bit undercooked to see. The higher quality the meat, the more tender it's going to be, right? If you get a tough cut and you want to eat it rare, you're going to be chewing like forever. If you've got a great, beautiful, tender cut and you're hitting it rare, it's like melting in your mouth. It's easy to chew. It's delicious. The more well done you go, the firmer it is, right? It's harder to chew, because remember, also we're talking about moisture being outside, right?
Okay.
And again, firm and cooked through, mostly cooked through, firm and springy, slightly firm, slightly cool center. You're going to have these different textures. Okay.
Chef,
Thank
this
you.
is LaSalle.
You're welcome.
I noticed you said black and blue, but my question to you is, being black and blue, is that still in the salmonella region?
I mean, well, remember, salmonella is going to be mostly for is for chicken, right?
Chicken,
poultry.
right.
So you can eat, nobody eats raw chicken, but people eat raw beef.
Raw,
So
I know people that eat raw hamburger.
Whoo, now that's yeah.
I think that's malaria.
That's way there, but I know people that do,
Yeah, I mean, if you go to a good steakhouse, that's like a steakhouse that has a burger on it, that meat is going to be super fresh. Like if you're getting your meat from a huge place, I probably wouldn't order it rare. Also, certain restaurants won't even offer you a rare burger because they can't, like, if you're getting a thin patty that's like a 1/4 of an inch, you can't make that rare. There's like no rare. There's nothing, like, once you hit the heat source, it's cooked.
Yeah, because the only thing you're doing is dropping and turn.
Yeah, exactly. So, there's a lot of those things. I think somebody just requested this guide. I'm going to put this in the chat really quickly. And then I do want to get into heritage breeding, because we didn't get to cover that. And I want to show you guys this stuff because it's super cool. So there's that chart. I'll put it on the class page as well. So heritage breeds. Remember, like last week, we were talking about heirloom seeds. Heirloom seeds coming from way back when, seed saving. These are the techniques that, varietals that kind of went out of fashion. When we think about massive agriculture, right? This is my best example for you guys. I think I asked you guys this in week 1, but I have not remembered. Did I ask you how many varietals of apples there were? Did you guys think? Did I ask you that?
I think you asked the question about apples, like you have 2 apples and then someone takes away 2 or something.
No, that sounds like another class, but
Okay.
I could have. So, but that's great. I'm glad you're paying attention. So apples, right? When we go to the grocery store, we walk in, there's red, there's green, there's yellow, right? Those are the pretty common ones. But now you start looking and there's about 6 or 7 different varietals. And when you really look at how many varietals of apples are around the world, we're talking about tens of thousands. Same with potatoes, right? Before we used to just have red potatoes or baking potatoes. Now we've got yellow potatoes, you've got baby potatoes, you have purple potatoes, fingerling potatoes, all the different tomatoes that are popping up. These are heirloom seeds. So just like there are heirloom seeds and heirloom varietals of vegetables and fruits, there's a term called heritage breeds. Heritage breeds have to do with animals. So we commonly just kind of, these days, there's just some cows and some cattle and some chickens, and the specific breeds that have been selected because they have bigger breasts or bigger thighs, they have juicier meat, they have more meat. Think about certain types of dairy cattle, right? Why are some cattle made for dairy and others not? Because they produce more milk. Okay, so it's called selective breeding. It's when we choose something because it has desirable characteristics. Okay, that's how all this is breeding, and why the apples, and we go into a grocery store, everything looks the same. It's been modified to say these grow really well. Oh, the original carrot was purple and it was bitter. Okay, now we have orange ones that are sweet because that has been selected out because it was more desirable, better flavor, more resistant to pests. Okay, things like this. All right, so let me pull this up and check this out. This is a heritage breed site that I want to show you, and then one other really cool thing, and then we will go to some more questions and wrap it up. But these are heritage breeds, right? Heritage breeds are traditional livestock breeds that were raised by our forefathers a long time ago. All right, but the good thing is, just like the heirloom vegetables, we are not losing this. If you've anybody ever heard of mangalitsa pork or seen mangalitsa pork on a menu? That mangalitsa pork is super fatty. It's got tons of fat in it, and it is delicious. Let me tell you, it is some of the most delicious meat out there. But only recently has it kind of had a resurgence, and now is popular in the States. If we hop into here, what does anybody want to look at? Does anybody want to look at? You want to look at poultry or livestock?
Poultry.
Poultry. All right. So let's check out the list of breeds here. Here's all of chickens. Check this out. Seriously, we just think of like the one chicken, right? Would you also be surprised that chicken eggs, different breeds have different colored eggs, from green? We know the old brown and white classic, but I'm talking about speckled, red, brown. So these are all very interesting. So as you can see, critical, threatened, they're on watch or they're recovering. Just like we have endangered species in the water, right? Endangered fish that we don't fish anymore because we fished them all. These are breeds that are at risk from becoming extinct. All right, so this is what it's all about. Heritage breeding is bringing back these great breeds. Otherwise, we're going to wipe them out. As you can see, it's a huge list, right? These are North American breeds imported before 1900, breeds imported after 1900.
Chef, I noticed when you were saying about chickens, my sister lives upstate New York.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a farm there that only produces the orange yolk.
Yep. So that's partially diet, and
Right.
how they're living. If they're pasture raised, if they're out there eating, remember we talked about that? That's the orange yolk is the best one. That means they've got they're full of nutrients. If you look at the pale yellow yolk that we are accustomed to here, which has
Right.
basically no flavor, right? Compared to those, completely different. So that could be partially due to the breed, but it's also most likely a lot due to their diet and how they're eating.
Okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
it could be a combination of the two factors.
Okay.
Great question though. But these are the things we should be, observing and thinking about. I'm going to pull up the pigs because I think that this is, let me see if I can get this.
Quick question, Chef,
Yeah.
before you pull that up. I thought these were mythical creatures, but I saw Phoenix on there. Are those actually have, do we have eggs of Phoenix, or
Let
is
me
that like
pull it
a
up. Let's see.
fire Phoenix? That's
Remember, it could
mythical.
just be
I mean,
the
I've
name of
seen
the
a
breed.
Phoenix bird before, but it's like a rainbow color. They're in the forest, I think. One of the
Where
forests.
did you see it?
It was down. It said, but imported after 1900. It said Phoenix.
Yeah. All right. It's on watch. So Phoenix chicken. And
Oh,
what is a
okay.
Phoenix chicken and what is an Onagadori chicken? Onagadori chickens are birds with tails that molt only once every 3 or more years and achieve exceptional tail lengths. See? So you're going to see different color. You're going to see different feathers. They're going to have different structure. It's really cool, actually. The Phoenix chicken breed is a result of European attempts to maintain long-tailed fowl working from a small population of imported Japanese chickens. Pretty
Okay.
cool.
Because when I thought of Phoenix, no offense, I mean, not trying to get off topic, but I thought of the Phoenix bird from Harry Potter. I was just like, we got those birds in real
Well,
life. I mean,
well, maybe you need to start growing some, raising some. I don't know. See if they
Yeah.
turn into it. But it's really cool. This is what's so cool when you get into these heritage breeds. You're going to start seeing, like if we look at cattle, this is what I thought was really, oopsies. I thought this was really interesting. So we talked about dairy, right? So there's literally going to be certain dairy breeds. Right? Who's ever heard of, I always hate when they do this. I don't want this. What's going on? Go back. Let's see if we can get into this without. All right. Nope, they're not going to let me. I don't know. But there are certain breeds, like I said, famous for their dairy. Okay. And that's what you're going to get into. We'll hop into cattle. Texas Longhorn, right? I'm sure most of you guys have heard of those. Those are North American breeds. And we've got import, again, before heritage Shorthorn, right? Native, Red Devon, all these different types. The Kerry Gold, right? Kerry Gold butter. Different. We're going to go into pigs. The Gloucester Old, the Spots, Saddleback. You'll see some other ones, the Guinea Hog, all of these. The Hereford is recovering. So let's see what this is. All right. Medium-sized hog that's unique to the US. It was developed in Iowa and Nebraska during the 1920s. Okay. Additional breeding and selection led to the identification of 100 animals as foundation stock in 1934, blah, 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 blah. Most of the interest in this Hereford breed was found in Illinois, Iowa, and Indiana. Okay. It was inspired by its strikingly beautiful color pattern. Let's see what else. They do well in a wide variety of climates. Remember, this is what we're going to be looking for. Why are animals selected? Well, what if those pigs can't survive in hot weather? Well, they're not going to go well, right? There are pigs who live in the tropics. Are those same pigs going to do well up north in the cold? Not necessarily. Same with the chickens. Same with rabbits. Same with birds. These things change. All right. So super interesting. Again, like I said, if you can get your hands on some Mangalisa pork, check it out, or Mangalisa sausage, check it out. Really cool. I want to show you all one more thing. This is another really cool event. Cochon 555 was an event that was literally started. I was fortunate enough to attend one, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago in Chicago. Super cool. Let me show you. Let's see if we can get into this. So this is the Cochon 555 mission. So first of all, let me just give you the prelims. 5 chefs get 5 different types of heritage breed pigs, okay? And they make 5 different dishes from those pigs. And you go in and you basically just get to eat and drink and enjoy and see all of these awesome dishes that these different fantastic chefs are creating. So the Cochon 555 mission has developed into one of the nation's premier events, and it's a national tour. It's been going on for 11 years, and it brings all these different fantastic chefs together, dynamic tasting menus that highlight the importance of food sustainability and sourcing locally. All right. True farm to table experience for both chefs and attendees. We'll show you some videos. I'll put this in the chat too. There was one chef when I went there. It was so cool. Let's see if we can find the one I was at. Cochon, they've been going. This was Chicago. It must have been 2018, but it goes around every year. The mangalitsa, because there was so much fat, they had so much fat after processing it, the chef turned it into truffles. So it was super cool. Plus there's also all this delicious wine and cocktails making. So as you can see, you're going to have all these cool different dishes. Another one took the utilized blood. Blood is great, right? Blood sausage. We're going to talk about that within Offal Week, but blood sausage. Give it a chance, LaSalle. But there's like these huge fabrication breakdowns, right? Super awesome. Breaking down that whole pig, that whole side. All the different treats. We've got tacos. Just phenomenal. And then you vote for it. It's a really fun event. It's lighthearted. I was hoping for some more photos of the food. I'm like, hello, where's the food, guys? Apparently the drinks were a little bit more important, but one of the chefs took that blood and turned it into a pasta, which was incredible. Instead of using eggs for the protein, because blood is loaded with protein and gives that springiness and that bite, absolutely fantastic. So, class, does anybody have any questions? I'm going to drop those websites into the class page so that you can check that out. But heritage breeds are something to be aware of. You're going to see those on more farm to table places. You'll see those at small farms. That's not what we're raising in the big farms. That's not what you're buying at the supermarket. Okay. It's also, not what the prices are going to look, astronomical compared to what we're used to at the grocery store. You think about Kobe beef, right? Wagyu beef, if you've heard of those, right? Those are very specific breeds that grow with high fat content. Okay. Some animals won't take fat well. Some will. Some will have tougher meat, bigger leg muscles. Right? You grow it for what the demands are, and that's what heritage and selective breeding has resulted in. We'll continue to keep this conversation rolling, but I wanted to put this down out there so that we start thinking about it. And I agree, La Pria whole pig is the bomb. I see LaSalle, your hand up.
Yes, Chef. As we were going through this, I was looking at things. These special animals are not all bred to be ate.
Correct. Some of them are not going to be eaten, but a lot of them are.
Right. That's what I was looking at, because the one that Norm brought up, that's not an eating bird, that's a raising bird.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe so. That they're looking for the long feathers. It's more for decorative and a decoration. So some of them, of course, are prized for their fur, but a lot of them are really prized for their flavor, right? The flavor of the meat, texture of the meat. But again, we're thinking about it. If you're looking at it as a farmer, if you're going to have to raise 50, like we think about it from 50 chickens, and I've got 2 different types of chickens, right? 2 different breeds. One chicken yields huge amount of meat. The other chicken doesn't. What am I going to grow? I'm screw these little ones that don't give me any
You're gonna
meat.
get the bigger one.
I'm gonna get the bigger ones because I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to survive.
Right. Right. But the smaller ones would be more like your hens.
Yeah, more tasty or more gamey. When
Right.
we think about the different flavor profiles. So
Right. Right. Right.
mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, class. Any other questions? Norman.
So, like when you're raising these types of animals, and I mean, I wish I had run a farm, but I don't. I don't have one, sadly. Maybe one
Me
day.
either. Maybe one day.
Um. So, you were saying something about like you gotta grow these cows a certain way, and I know they give like chickens and cows and like all kinds of animals that we eat in the store like hormones, and I mean I know hormones aren't good for your body more or less because it's just not good in general. But
Yep.
like, don't they get those hormones out of the cow? So you get them in the cow in their food, get them like size of a car. Don't they get
Mhm.
them out of there or what? Or leave them in there?
The
'Cause I
hormones
know
stay in there.
Because I know some meats say no hormones. I guess those are the ones that just grow up naturally, right?
Yep, exactly. Remember,
So
there's also like in recent years, there's been outlaws on certain types of, additional hormones or,
yeah,
things like that. There was a big thing in the milk and the dairy industry because there were a lot of hormones growth hormones, essentially
yeah,
growth hormones, to plump them up, which were then transferring into the milk, which was actually then having an impact on both young women and young men, young females and males,
yeah,
inducing, starting puberty earlier, huge kids, yeah, remember, whatever we eat goes into our body. And
yeah,
then so that's something that, and I'm glad you brought this up, it's something to really think about, right?
yeah,
If cows or animals or whatever, fish, we're going to be talking about fish later, are eating a certain diet that's not their normal diet, they're being slaughtered and we're eating them, we're taking that on, right?
yeah,
So it's something to really think about, what's that muscle? What is that muscle made out of? There's also, we'll go into this in another deeper level, but even when you think about at the slaughterhouse, right? If you're really scared right before you die, right?
yeah,
We release
yeah,
different stress hormones too. It sounds crazy, but this is where the conversation can go, and the conversation that you'll hear. If these animals are living a terrible life in a cramped pen their whole life, their meat sucks. Think about when you meet a person that's super stressed out all the time and just like angry all the time. Woo, that
yeah,
energy is like back up out, right? Like,
yeah,
no, thank you, right? Compared to somebody
yeah,
who's like, okay, taking care, being a little bit calm. That person that's super stressed out, their muscles are like frigid, right? The
yeah,
person who's
really
a little bit
tense.
more relaxed, hopefully they're feeling a little bit better, right? So
Yeah,
all of these things go into, the muscles, right? Into our body. Then if you're super stressed when you get killed, right? In the slaughterhouse, and those chemicals get released into the meat, right? It's going to have a different flavor. Sounds crazy, but this is the reality, So it's fascinating. My suggestion to everybody is to just look into it. I have gone on so many different things where I don't eat any meat. Because I was, was appalled by the system. Then I'm saying, well, I'm only going to eat this type of meat. Now, well, okay, well, I'm going to eat whatever I want. Knowledge is the power. With the knowledge, you can make educated decisions. Without being
yeah,
educated and knowledgeable about it, you're just doing whatever, right? Obviously, cost factors come into things, but guess what? If you start looking and checking out videos, documentaries, reading is good. You can see a lot of crapola out on the internet. Not all of that's true. Everybody that is making a documentary has their own bias, their own opinion, their own agenda. So it's something you want to be looking into, like who's writing this, what's their point, what are they trying to prove, right? What's their backing? Where did they study? What did they use to research? Same with papers, articles, magazines. Anybody can post anything on the internet. Look for qualified research, things that have educational backups, right? This is what we want to get into. It's really important to just know where your food is coming from, and then you can make the best educated decisions, and how to move forward.
So I do have one other thing for you. I think it's true, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask you if you know. So I've heard with like a lot of vegan diets, because it's good for your health. It I've heard that you have to have some type of like protein or meat to consume or make you sick. Or like if you go straight vegan. Is that true?
It's
Or
true and not true. You don't have to have meat. However, you will, some vitamins and nutrients are not found in just plants, right? And remember, we're talking
yeah,
about vegan, so super vegan. So like a vegetarian can eat eggs, right? Lacto-ovo vegetarians eat eggs and cheese and dairy, and you can get you can get calcium. But remember, calcium is found in leafy greens. So there's for that for the vegans, right? You can find iron in broccoli and spinach.
yeah,
B12 is one of the biggest ones. B12 is really only found in meat. But B12, you could take supplements, you can take vitamins for that. Also B12, you can get B12 from some mushrooms because of how they're grown and that being in the soil. But if you choose to be vegan or vegetarian, yeah, it's important to know, like, that your diet is well-rounded. You shouldn't just be eating potato chips and, carrot sticks and hummus. You're not going to get it right. You have to think about amino acids, proteins, getting a complete protein, which means a combination of legumes and grains,
yeah.
and having a wide variety. So no, it's not that it's unattainable, but you can, if you don't know if you're not, again, educated and well-read, yeah, you could become malnourished or malnutrition, but no, if you know what you're doing, you'll be fine.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, one more question, LaSalle.
Yes, Shell. Excuse me, no, let me knock you out, buddy. But what we are saying, like carry cows.
Mm-hmm.
Certain cows are bred just for certain things,
Yep.
like Wagyu or either Angus. These are more top of the line meats and chicken, different types of chickens, birds, quails. Each are breaded or either cooked for their specialty on the
Definitely.
meat.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'll just pull this last thing up just to show you. Kerrygold is just an interesting thing. There's certain dairy cows, right?
Right.
Kerrygold, they are also, first of all, they're only doing grass fed. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see, our taste. Let's just see. Our way, grass fed. Let's see, Kerrygold cows graze outdoors. Kerrygold farmers plan herd movements to ensure their cows always eat the highest quality grass. Let's see. Yeah, let's check out our cars. Seeing what else. Let's hop on sustainability. But yeah, I mean, basically, different, if you, like you said, we've got Angus, we've got Kobe, you've got Longhorn, you've got all these different types of cattle that are going to be raised for different things, but there's definitely specific dairy cows versus, ones that, for different styles of meat. And that's why you see Angus, right? You see Kobe beef. Kobe is coming from a certain region, but it's also has a lot of fat content. So just like the Mangalitsa has really high fat content in their pigs. So they're bred for certain styles. For like Mangalitsa is great because you can make sausage from that because you get a lot of pork fat.
Right. So what I was trying to get at was just like Kerry. Their cows are not meant to be eaten. They're sustainably fed just to produce
milk,
butter, and milk.
Yep, milk and butter and dairy. Yep.
Right.
Yep, those aren't eating cows.
Right. No, they just live their life term.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Shel.
Yeah, you're very welcome. All righty, class. Well, thank you all for a wonderful Friday. I will be hopping back in grading for the next few hours. So anybody who didn't get anything, I'm on the tail and hopping in. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy week 3. It's super fast and easy, so knock it out. and make sure that you're knocking out all of those knowledge checks every week on time. Everybody's been doing a great job. Keep pushing. I've seen some great work. Few notes, just keep paying attention to knife cuts. You remember, you control the heat, and enjoy, have fun, and eat it up. Talk to y'all later.
Bye, Chef.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chef. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
All right,
Good
Noel.
night.